Hello everyone. So what I thought I'd do is just do a quick 1 or 2 minute segment here on how I attach my canoe to the Jeep. And of course every car is different, every canoe is different. So I'm just going to tell you what I do and you connect the dots, listen to what works for you. So here we go. My canoe is a Scott 15.5 wilderness canoe with a full keel, and my Jeep is a 2007 Jeep Liberty. So that's the vehicle that I have. Now I've attached canoes to my vehicles for years, different vehicles. I find that canoes are quite rigid. You don't have to put bow lines and tail lines on them necessarily. The canoe's not going to fold up and break. At least it's never happened in my experience anyway, and it's never even shown any flexing, to be honest with you. So I think that the person who invented ratchet straps should have gotten the Order of Canada. They're just absolutely fantastic. They're so easy to use. They work great. And with the newer versions of them, they've got some plastic so they don't cut your fingers anymore. So on the back, what we don't want to have is the canoe sliding back and forth. So I have a thwart here, and as you can see, I wrap the back strap around the thwart and around the crossbeam, and then of course that holds the canoe from sliding back and forth. A word about the crossbeams on the Jeep. A previous Jeep, I had actually gone and bought the proper crossbeams with rubber. The problem is that with that you can't slide the canoe. It sticks to it, which I guess is good in some ways, but not in this. Whereas the pressure treat wood, I know it looks low rent, but I don't care. You can slide the canoe on with ease. And in addition, because it's wood, when you winch it down, the wood gives a little bit, and I think that's better for the canoe. Now, the front one, what happens here sometimes is if you don't wrap it around the beam, then when you get to a certain speed when you're driving, the strap will vibrate, and it sounds like you're, flying a 4-engine propeller airplane, which can be fun, I guess. So I usually wrap it around the beam, and that kind of helps a little bit with it. Now, how tight to make it? So we don't want to break the canoe, obviously, and ratchet straps, if you want to, I'm sure you could probably do something with it. My rule is when I move the canoe like so, does it slide, or is it the whole Jeep move? In this case, the whole Jeep moves. So as far as I'm concerned, that's where I want to be. I also want it reasonably centered, which happens without too much trouble as well. And then the same thing on the back. I go around. I'm going to grab the back of the canoe here and give it a little bit of a tug. And as you can watch here, the only thing moving is the Jeep. So we're done. Finally, I have a hanger here. And I just got this off the internet for a little bit of fun, but it just snaps on to the one painter hole at the bottom of the canoe for a couple of reasons. First, for drivers, but probably more importantly, I've hit my head walking around my car with my head down a bit, and I've run into that canoe which explains a great deal, I suspect, but I've run into that canoe pretty good a few times. So having that down there brings it to my attention. So the nice part about this system is that the canoe goes up pretty quick, and it's held in place. It's never let me down. When the ratchet straps get wet, it doesn't change anything, as ropes sometimes stretch a little bit when they're wet. I've never had to adjust it in the whole time. The boards get kind of tired after 4 or 5 years being outside, and so for $6 or $7 you get another 8-foot piece of 2x6 pressure treat, and you replace them. But it's worked out super for me since I came up with this method. And before I had ropes and I had knots and I had everything, and it was just a matter to get it tight enough and everything else. And then the issues with weather changing, I've seen it. When I had way back in the 90s, when I had my first camper I built, I put the canoe on top of what I'd built as a small truck camper, and that one I held with turnbuckles. If I can find a picture, I'll stick it in here. I'm not so sure if I have one. The front was just turnbuckles, or just chain and a turnbuckle, and I slid it on and caught it, and then I brought the back down and then tied it tight on that. And again, with the wooden roof, it held it pretty well. And gosh, did that go on quickly as well. I can remember people, they'd be tying knots. I'd go get my truck, put my canoe on, and be gone while they were still tying knots. And I felt always that it was secure. And in that case, I couldn't see the canoe when I was driving, so it was a little bit more of a concern. In this one, you always see the canoe. If it starts to shift a little bit for some reason, you know you've got to do something. Anyhow, so that's my, oh, finally, one more point here. Just remembered. Let's switch back again. So we've got the excess strap here from the two. And, you know, you can come up with all kinds of ideas. It's pretty low tech. I just open the door, throw that one in there, and put this one over here and close the door. And there they are. And they stay put. It works great. So, I don't know. And again, that's my car and my canoe. If you have a 17-foot canoe, that's going to make it a bit different. But this is, oh yeah, and I should point out another thing while I think of it. When you put the hooks together up here, make sure they're pointing outward and they're not pointing and digging into your canoe. And you can rotate them so that they'll do that. That's another thing. I also find that this, while it's against the canoe, doesn't seem to really mark it too much. My canoe's all scratched up anyway. But if you go down the side here, you really can't say there's damage. And on the front one, they're actually not in contact as this narrow part of the canoe, where the back one here is a little wider. So, although I suppose I could adjust it downward a bit anyway. Okay, thank you for watching, but this is how I get it on the Jeep and how we drive as far as we've got to drive. And this includes when we tow the Jeep behind the RV when we're tripping like that. Once again, the canoe goes on the roof behind the Jeep, and I can follow the progress by watching the Jeep in the backup camera of the RV. So it works out pretty well. Thanks for watching.